He says, our 11-year-old son, who has invested his earnings over the last few years, is passionate about math and finance and is enjoying Millionaire Mission.
Oh, nice.
What is the best place to hold his investments? We know he can open a youth investment account at 13, but until then, we're holding his investments in a separate account in our brokerage. Do y'all have any tips for?
Well, I mean, there's so many cool things in this question.
Yeah.
First, 11-year-old, and I couldn't hear if you read this part, who's invested his mowing earnings.
Yeah.
This is earned income.
He's making money.
Now, look, for people who just opening up an account for a child and you want to take advantage of their lower tax rate than yours, custodial accounts are great. You know, the UGMA or UTMA, and then before that even you have 529s. But as soon as your children actually learn the value of hard work and they start making money through their labor, their time, I love custodial Roth IRAs because if he's wired this way, why not you? And by the way, you could prime the pump and do some type of matching formula, whether it's 50 cents on the dollar, dollar for dollar. Remember, you can't exceed what they make. Your contribution can't exceed what your earned income limit is when you're making Roth contributions. But that way you could at least allow him to enjoy some of the fruit of his labor as well if you did some type of matching formula. But I love priming that pump to kind of really encourage that good behavior of discipline and letting your money work for you.
I love, this is a great example. Even starting at 11 years old, you can use a tool like Millionaire Mission. Brian, do you hold the Millionaire Mission thing up? You can even use a tool like this to teach your children financial concepts. It's not so complicated, not so difficult that they cannot grasp it and they cannot get excited about it, so that you can have them beginning to form those habits at a very early age that they'll ultimately take on later in life. In terms of accounts that might be available for you, I love that you mentioned the custodial Roth. Whenever it comes to like kids' accounts, I always say, think about what the ultimate goal for these dollars is, and generally it falls into three distinct buckets. If the goal is for college or for higher education, 529s are a great solution. If the goal is for like retirement or financial independence, custodial Roths are a great solution. And then if the goal is for something more intermediate in term, and maybe it's for the first car or a down payment on the first house or some other goal they want to save for, well, that's where an Utma might be a fantastic solution. So you ought to have that conversation with your kid and say, hey, which one of these goals do you want to fund? Which one of these gets you excited? And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can actually have a child who has an UTMA set up and also has a custodial Roth set up. There's nothing wrong with doing that, especially if your child is taking an active role in the process.
By the way, everybody ought to go to moneyguy.com/resources, play around with our wealth multiplier. I went and pulled it with my handy dandy little cheat sheet here. For an 11-year-old, every dollar has the potential to become $216.51.
That's amazing.
Wowzer.
Insane.
I get excited about every dollar for a 20-year-old becomes 88.
That's way more exciting.
11-year-old, $216.51. That's mind-blowing.